Caitlin Clark was supposed to be coached by Minnesota Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve.
Because Clark traded Cheryl Reeve, who was the coach of her team, or was to be the coach of her team.
Caitlin Clark and Napheesa Collier, they traded their coaches. They didn't trade any players in the draft. They traded their coaches.
But I cannot believe she traded the coach.
Courtney Williams, she picks her UConn alum, Breanna Stewart, Paige Beckers.
What if I told you those picks weren't just about talent? While the entire world was distracted by the fireworks of Caitlin Clark trading away her coach, Cheryl Reeve, a much quieter and far more calculated game was being played right in front of the cameras. The headlines screamed about revenge and the Olympic snub, but that was just a smokescreen. The real story, the one that will define the All-Star game, is the secret strategy Napheesa Collier deployed to build the perfect anti-Clark squad. We're about to connect the dots the mainstream media completely missed. If you're here for the real story behind the game, the chess match behind the headlines, do me a favor and smash that like button to let us know we're on the right track. Okay, so let's filter out the noise for a second. Yes, the coach trade was historic. Caitlin Clark saying, "I don't know if this is in the rules, I don't really care," before shipping Cheryl Reeve over to Team Collier was an all-time power move. It was personal, it was dramatic, and it played perfectly into the narrative that Clark was getting her payback for the Olympic snub. That's the story everyone is telling. But as narrative analysts, you and I know the story never ends with the obvious. The real chess move wasn't the one everyone was watching, it was the one they ignored. To understand what Collier was really doing, you have to look beyond the draft and into the politics of the WNBA itself. A new battleground has emerged and it's called Unrivaled. For those who aren't caught up, Unrivaled is the new 3-on-3 league launched by none other than Napheesa Collier and Breanna Stewart. It's been positioned as a new venture for players by players. But here's the critical piece of the puzzle. Caitlin Clark reportedly turned down an offer of over $1 million to join it. She chose to sit it out. Now, hold that thought and let's go back to the draft. What was Napheesa Collier wearing on national television while she drafted her team to go up against Clark? Unrivaled merchandise. That wasn't a coincidence, it was a statement. This wasn't just Team Collier versus Team Clark. This was the public formation of Team Unrivaled, and Collier was drafting her soldiers for the war to come. This is where we get into the strategy, because Collier didn't just pick her friends, she picked an identity. She was building a wall, and she was making Clark run right into it. So how do you build a wall? You don't do it with speed, you do it with steel. And that's exactly what Collier drafted. Let's look at the tail of the tape, because the numbers don't lie, and they expose Collier's entire bully ball blueprint. Team Clark averages about 6 feet 1 inch in height and brings an average of 5.3 years of WNBA experience. It's a young, fast team built to run the floor and stretch the defense. Now look at Team Collier. Her squad stands at an average height of 6 feet 3 inches and, more importantly, carries an average of 7.6 years of professional experience. This wasn't by accident. This was a deliberate choice to draft size, strength, and veteran savvy. Look at the roster she assembled. You have Breanna Stewart, one of the most dominant two-way forces in league history. You have Nakaka Ugwemike, a powerhouse in the paint. You have Alyssa Thomas, arguably the most physical player in the entire WNBA. And then you have Angel Reese. Collier wasn't just picking all-stars, she was hand-selecting a team of enforcers, a squad designed to control the paint, dominate the boards, and physically punish a smaller, faster team. On the other side, you have Team Clark, a roster that looks built for a track meet.
Clark should have a very fast team there. When you look at it, I mean, Williams is really fast for a forward. Obviously, Kelsey's very fast. Citron's very fast. Jackie Young's one of my favorite players. Arian Finn, a rookie, can get up and down the floor. Ionescu can help spread the floor along with Kelsey and Clark so they can really shoot.
That's exactly right. Clark built a team of shooters and runners designed for a fast-paced, high-scoring game. Sabrina Ionescu, Kelsey Mitchell, Jackie Young. It's a team designed to create chaos with speed and spacing. And Collier, a student of the game, saw this coming from a mile away. She didn't try to match Clark's strategy. She drafted a direct answer to it. Finesse versus force. Speed versus strength. Collier's plan was to clog the lane, slow the game down, and turn a showcase into a grind. This is a classic basketball chess match. Do you think size and experience can shut down a team built on speed and shooting in an all-star game? Let me know your coaching philosophy in the comments below. Every pick Collier made adds another layer to the strategy, and it reveals a specific mindset she was drafting for. A mindset perfectly personified by one of the most polarizing players in the league. And that's where the story gets even more interesting. Let's zoom in on the psychology of the draft. Because a general doesn't just draft soldiers, they draft a mentality. This brings us to Angel Reese. When Reese's name was on the board, Napheesa Collier leaned into the mic and dropped the now infamous phrase, "me bound." Now, on the surface, this was a callback, a little bit of TV drama. But if you're building an anti-Clark roster, it's a mission statement. Reese has built her entire brand on rebounding, on grit, on a physical style of play that lives in the paint. By drafting her and invoking that mantra, Collier was signaling to everyone what she valued: toughness over flash, substance over style. And what was Caitlin Clark's reaction? Stone cold. The transcript from the event describes it as a frozen stare, no smirk, no laugh, not even a raised eyebrow. Clark knew exactly what was happening. She was watching her rival assemble a team specifically designed to counter her, and that me-bound comment was the unofficial motto of the opposition. But this is where the story takes a truly ironic twist. The one move that Caitlin Clark made to seize control of her own narrative might have been the one that handed her rival the ultimate weapon. In her effort to publicly distance herself from Cheryl Reeve, Clark traded her away. And where did Reeve land? As the head coach of Team Collier. Think about that for a second. Cheryl Reeve, a four-time WNBA champion coach, a defensive mastermind, was just handed the keys to a veteran-heavy, physical, defensive-minded roster that was hand-picked to go to war with a younger, faster team. It's the most perfect and perhaps accidental coach and roster pairing imaginable for this specific matchup. Clark thought she was making a statement, but she may have inadvertently created her own worst nightmare. Was trading Reeve the biggest strategic mistake Clark made in this draft? Smash that like button if you think this move is going to come back to haunt her. The layers of strategy here are incredible. Collier had a plan from the very beginning, and it started even before she picked a single player. Her first move wasn't an acquisition, it was an attempted demolition. Collier's strategy was so thorough that it even included a preemptive strike. Before the teams were even built, she made one of the wildest trade offers you'll ever hear on a live broadcast.
I would need to make this big. You have to give me your #1 overall pick and your teammate, Aaliyah Boston.
Absolutely not. Not happening. Good try.
Now, the broadcast team laughed this off. Even Clark's response, a simple "good try," was played off as a lighthearted moment. But we have to filter out that noise. This wasn't a joke. This was a strategic probe. Collier was attempting to dismantle Team Clark before it was even assembled, trying to poach her Indiana Fever teammate and the cornerstone of her front court, Aaliyah Boston. It was a bold move to weaken her opponent's core chemistry. Clark saw right through it and shut it down. But the attempt itself exposes Collier's mindset. She wasn't there to have fun. She was there to win, and she was willing to play psychological games to do it. So now the stage is set. This isn't just another all-star exhibition. It's a legitimate clash of titans with deeply personal and political undertones. It's a test of two opposing philosophies, two competing visions for the future of the WNBA. On one side, you have the new school, Caitlin Clark's team of speed, youth, and limitless range. On the other, you have the veteran guard, Napheesa Collier's wall of size, strength, and experience, led by a legendary defensive coach. The question is,
who do you think, A, picked the best team, and B, who do you think's going to win?
while everyone was mesmerized by the drama between Caitlin Clark and Cheryl Reeve, the real story was being written by Napheesa Collier. Her All-Star draft wasn't a simple selection of players, it was a masterclass in strategy, a declaration of war fought on the battlefield of league politics. By leveraging the Unrivaled alliance and drafting a team of veterans specifically designed to physically counter Clark's high-speed offense, Collier transformed an exhibition game into a must-see referendum on the future of the league. This isn't just a game, it's a carefully constructed test, and Collier built the perfect team to administer it. So what's your take on all this? In the comments below, let me know whose strategy you think will win, Clark's high-flying offense or Collier's veteran wall. If you want to keep getting the real story behind the headlines in the WNBA, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next investigation. And finally, if you know another narrative analyst who needs to see this breakdown, share this video with them.